We're live in Las Vegas. It's Alex Belfield talking to the biggest stars, and I have two of them not only in Vegas but in the world as well. Brad Oscar and Leigh Zimmerman. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, hello.
Now, hang on a minute. Are we stalking each other? Am I stalking you or are you stalking me? This is becoming too regular.
Yes, exactly. Here we are again, the producers, only this time in Vegas, not at Theatre Royal Drury Lane.
Yeah, and it's the Mel Brooks on speed version that you've just encountered.
Listen, I got to be honest, for anybody, this is, as I've told you before, my favourite show in the world ever. I am slightly distressed that this is a 90-minute version of this musical, and this is, as you say, the version for those who are very busy gambling.
Exactly. Well, that is the point. I mean, people, primarily do not come here, obviously, to see theater, certainly Broadway musicals. But the great thing about this town is that they do love their entertainment. So as a compromise, we do this 90-minute version. And I think if people don't know the show, they don't necessarily know that they're missing stuff. But if you do know the show, sure, my God, the show's so jam-packed. We've lost a lot of funny stuff, but yeah.
It is a shame, but this is a place where everything's about getting in, getting out, and getting back to the casino. It's the most unbelievable place in the world, and this show basically has more laughs than any other. So, presumably for your audience, you don't want them to be too drunk or too distracted, because unlike West End and Broadway audiences that are listening on your every word, these guys have got other things to think about. How's that working?
Are you kidding? I'm just happy that there aren't the cups filled with coins anymore. They're not allowed those anymore. It's a credit card thing that they say. There's no handle on the slot machines anymore for coins. No, I think we're handling it well and they're handling it well. We still have really high energy, high impact performances and audience, that exchange that this show requires. And I think people are still here. They're well dressed. They're looking for a good time, but they also want to be in and out. And they have three other things that they probably want to see while they're here. They've probably seen Celine Dion or, the noise you hear in the background is David Hasselhoff next door, by the way.
Exactly. Yes, probably with some Baywatch babes or something. I don't know. But, I also think it works to our advantage in many ways because it is such a party town and people do come here for the release and the excitement, and whether it's drinking or gambling or eating or just being festive in that way, and they bring that with them into the audience. And so because our show feeds on that, ideally, it does seem like a good fit.
Are you kidding? And the Paris Hotel is so happy with us because we send them out there back into the casino happy, laughing, ready to spend more money.
Let's talk about what it's like being here in Vegas, because it's a little bit full on, certainly compared to even the West End or Broadway, which is crazy by its own standards. How are you dealing with being here?
You know what? For a change of pace, I'm loving it. I mean, the weather is wonderful. We're missing the, winter back east, which is fine. As I said, for a change of pace, to come out here and be around all this craziness, this is a town unlike any other, which I'm sure obviously you've been experiencing for the past week. And I think it's a fun way to sort of do the show again and yet make it new and fresh for us who have done it, before and for so long. Yeah.
And what about you?
Oh, well, I'm having a little bit more of a culture shock because I came straight from London.
Yeah.
And I've been in London for 7 years and been back and forth a little bit, but to come straight back, kind of move the whole family back for this, temporary period. I've been putting my daughter into school. My husband and I have been settling in here into a house. We've been trying to feel what it's like, A, to be back in America, and B, to be in Las Vegas and be off of the Strip and realize that there's a life outside of the Strip, because anybody who really visits never leaves the Las Vegas Strip because there's so much to do, but there's a huge community out here and a lot of wonderful people and a lot of things to do.
Well, I would say Vegas is created for people like me, the clinically obese that love to eat. I mean, you're so beautiful, thin and gorgeous. I mean, what happens with the buffets?
Oh, my God. You know what? We're too close to California for me to ever fall off the wagon with the food. It's so California here. I mean, the beautiful women. And
yes, I'll take that one. The buffet at the Paris is excellent. The Bellagio is wonderful. Still fond of Caesars. It is dangerous. Much less we have here at the Paris, there's an employees' dining room where all the employees of the hotel can go to eat for free.
And it's fabulous food.
And they have everything. It's very dangerous.
What is it, like the sweepings off the buffet floor or something?
No, I'm telling no, it's really good. No, it really is. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
I'd like your part, you see, Brad, because you can't get thin. It would mean you would lose your gig, so there's no worry being in Vegas with this.
There's no skinny Max. There's no skinny Leo. No way.
A few years ago, I was lucky enough to interview interview your husband, Dominic. And Dominic Allen is a renowned performer around the world. And Vegas means a lot to him because he told me the most incredible story about Liberace and selling him a piano. Was it true or was he just lying?
No, it's absolutely true. In fact, years ago, Dominic was the featured entertainer with Liberace in the mid-'80s. And when Liberace's mother passed away, Dominic and his girlfriend at the time, who shall remain nameless, they were living just off the Strip, and Liberace rang his doorbell one morning, as he many times did, wanted to come for breakfast, And then he sat down and he said, look, my mother's passed away. I don't know what to do with her townhouse, so I want to sell it to you. And Dominic was like, oh, I don't think I can really afford something like this. He said, no, I'm going to sell it to you for $1. So the whole house and everything in it, and we still have the dining room set that we have carted all over the world with us, and the piano and everything else is still with us. And we have schlepped it all the way to London, and we've schlepped it all the way back here.
Isn't that the most incredible showbiz story ever?
Right? It is great. And I swear to God, I recommend anybody who comes to Vegas, you have got to go to the Liberace Museum. Because this man was incredible. And such a performer. And in so many ways, he personifies what Vegas was and no longer is, really, in many ways.
Well, I suppose he made David Hasselhoff's performance this evening look butch, didn't he, really?
No, we were just happy to see that man in a dress again. Are you kidding?
Exactly.
What is it like in terms of pressure on putting on a production where some of people want you to fail, some people want you to succeed? How does that make you feel? Is it a different pressure to the West End or Broadway, or is it exactly the same?
It is. I believe it's a different pressure here because I think that they still haven't quite figured out the science of that Broadway thing on the Las Vegas Strip. You're competing with how many different Cirque shows? 6, I think. And then you've got individual entertainers. You've got all the celebrities who have now come here. Prince is in town. Tony Braxton's in town. Tons and tons. Celine, Elton. Everybody's here. So if people come in and they want, to spend money on one or two big things, I don't know what they're going to choose. And I don't think the Vegas Strip has figured that out yet.
But also, I think that, we're so used to, on Broadway and in the West End, yes, if people don't come and see the show, that's it. They need the money to keep the show going. Whereas here, we're under an umbrella, and we are an entertainment that also includes the restaurants and the gambling and whatever. So it's not necessarily about filling that theater every night, because the people who come here, they're buying their ticket, but then hopefully they're also spending some more money here at the casino. So the hotel will see, ideally, a bump in its income, and that can hopefully be then reflected on the show, if not necessarily, the number of seats that are sold. So.
But the good thing about Mel Brooks is the producer is it draws people into this casino, which is what the casino wants. It's what the hotel wants, and people are definitely coming in. And that's the other thing I've learned is by kind of being a local here now is that locals are very, very important to this part of the industry, to the Broadway shows on the Strip and to anybody else who wants to be here for a long period of time. The locals are very important, and we have definitely been able to draw them in.
I think you are right. The thing that I've learned is there are more showbiz people within 1 square mile than anywhere else in the world, including Broadway.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people, live and work here now.
It's unreal, too, because all the entertainers have that old-style kind of camaraderie, and, if you go to see another entertainer, they always point you out that you're in the house, and everybody exchanges free tickets, and there's really a family, of entertainers. I'm telling you, I can't concentrate because David Hasselhoff, can you hear him?
But the sad thing is he's screaming at the top of his voice, yet he refused to speak to me. How dare he?
Wow.
It's a kick to a man's ego, isn't it? Very finally, let's talk about other things on the Strip. Have you had any time to go and see anything else? Is there anything else that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I have actually. I visited Vegas several times over the years. So I'd seen a couple of the Cirque shows previously, which, are just gorgeous. They're breathtaking. They build these theaters for the show, and they sit down and they envision these crazy things, and then they make them happen. Yeah. But, what else did I get to? Oh, well, Jubilee. Now, see here, talking about old Vegas, talking about, Liberace and everything. But here's a show, that used to be, this was the kind of show you'd see in Vegas, and you just don't see it anymore. So I found that sort of fascinating and a hell of a lot of fun as an artifact, if you will, and yet... live 12 times a week.
And I suppose there are some resemblances with the producers with the Jubilee show. There are certain things that happen that could be seen as similar.
Yes, exactly, except our girls keep their tops on. But, at least so far. I can't tell you where we're going in a couple of weeks.
Well, this is maybe the way forward. Who would I have to speak to maybe get that approved?
It wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me.
This could be a whole new Ulla, couldn't it? The naked Ulla.
There's no way Ulla's flipping off that desk without some support.
Exactly. Thank you.
Brad Oscar and Leigh Zimmerman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have fun.
Yes.